Good morning and welcome to It Just Means More Football and Coffee. I'm Rob Williams. He is Craig McMichael. We're not shy about our allegiances today, as I have on the garnet and black, and he is apparently sitting between the hedges. And here we are this morning to talk to you about Tier 3 of the SEC. But before we get into or really Tier 2, because we've done Tiers 4 and 3, and now we're working our way up. So Tier 2. Let's just talk about how we're doing this morning. What's going on with you, Craig? I see the Pappy mug.
I got a little Pappy Van Winkle coffee, not the bourbon yet. By the way, I got to give a shout out to a friend of the podcast, Wright Thompson. He wrote Pappyland, and if you want to read something that's just enjoyable, whether you like bourbon or not, that is something we can do. Right? Cannot wait to have you on this summer so you can talk to us a little bit. But no, I am doing well. It is a birthday week, so God has blessed me for 41 years. So we're doing okay. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing well. Happy late birthday to you here on the pod for all of our listeners to celebrate along with us. I'll do a shout out to a friend of the pod as well. I'm back with my Dukes on Main Memphis barbecue mug because my favorite band, the band Camino, who made this mug, because it's a line from one of their songs, came out with 3 new songs this morning, and so that's been what I've been listening to. But strangely enough, the band is made up of 3 guys: Jeffrey Jordan, Garrison Burgess, and Spencer Stewart. So another Spence from Memphis that I'm celebrating this morning. But that lends me to celebrate our friend of the pod, Memphis Spence, as well.
Nice. Yeah, we got to get him on. I feel like, though, that one is going to be one where we will be learning and for once listening rather than talking. Memphis is a phenomenal resource. Enjoy his college credit hour twice a week. So
Absolutely. And I look forward to that as well.
you got a
Hey,
donut over there, by the way? What donut do you
I
have?
have
What do you
pound, I have pound cake.
Pound cake? Come on now. Where is your Krispy Kreme? Or where is Mr. Bo's? Come on, you cannot be in South Carolina and not go to Mr. Bo's for a little biscuit.
Yeah, it's a frequent stop. It's a frequent stop. It's often bow time, so got to do what you got to do. But yeah, here we are. It's time to talk the next tier. Are we ready to jump in? Oh, wait, I forgot to tell you. I have one more thing for you.
Yes.
It's Friday. We're recording on a Friday. Normally record on a Thursday, so I'm
Yep.
in yard work mode.
It's
Got the hat
Friday.
on.
Friday. It's raining for you, by the way, today.
Is it?
It is. Go ahead.
Wonderful.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'm afraid I'm going to get that too, and I need to get on the mower at some point. But one of my favorite Gamecock hats. You can tell because of how worn out it is.
Right.
It's made its rounds, but just to speak the story of how long this hat has been around, implanted on the bill is the ever-present 2012 Beat Georgia sticker, which has been on this hat for more than a decade. More than a decade.
Right.
It is made into the bill of this hat. At this point, you cannot feel the difference between the sticker and the hat. So
That's phenomenal.
I pulled it out just for you this morning, and you did not disappoint and got the G right there behind your head. So
By
we're
the way,
not
real
getting
quick,
to.
did you order your hedges? Georgia is replacing all the hedges. Plastic City has now put up, I think they're up to their 3rd post of someone trying to buy them. That must mean inventory is still available. So hunker
No, I have
down and
not
get
bought
your
my
hedges.
I have not bought my hedges. Most of us Gamecocks have plenty from the 2019 upset when we took them. So no need
Overtime,
to purchase.
overtime, lethargic. Anyway, let's get into tier 2 so I can tell you all about why you're wrong and I'm right.
Dude, this one's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. I'm not necessarily sure that I like the way that it turned out, but I just broke them down game by game.
How are we going to
So
start this? Do you want to start? You want to start at the beginning of the alphabet? Is that how we're gonna go with this one?
is that what you want to do? You want to
Roll
start at
Tide,
the beginning?
baby. Roll Tide,
Okay.
baby.
All right, we'll start there. At 9-3, I have Alabama, the Crimson Tide. That I think that's a good year, not a great year under the first year with Kalen DeBoer. They're going to be upset uh, if that's how it turns out. That's just it. It just is what it is. Let's take a look. I'll tell you the three losses that I have are Georgia, Tennessee, and LSU. And so some wiggle room there. And we're going to talk about LSU in just a minute. I think that game might be the most winnable for them.
Yeah.
Does that
Yep.
make sense? You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
that makes sense. So just go again one more time. The three losses are.
Georgia,
Yep.
Tennessee, LSU.
So one home loss to the Dogs, which I am working on possibly going to that game. Uh, Work in
Ah,
progress. Work in progress. More to come as we see it. And then you got two losses on the road at Tennessee, at LSU.
you
Please.
gotta you gotta imagine that the LSU game um, ends up being a night game in Baton Rouge.
Yep.
And it really all depends on where the two teams are at that point, right? Like it's a lot of momentum type of situation. I think that the Tennessee series is going to get into a back and forth type of series, maybe here for a 3-year stint. You kind of are in that already because Tennessee won a couple of years ago with the upset, and then uh, so
Blew a
you
huge first half lead last year and should have won again, but did
right,
not.
exactly.
Yeah.
And so from my perspective, it could kind of go back and forth.
That doesn't bode well for Kalen. I mean, 9-3, like you look at the schedule, I don't hate your prediction, but like Georgia, maybe. Does Kirby have a bugaboo for the Tide, or was it Saban? I think all dog fans, including this one, wants to know. I'm not going to quarrel with you on that. Tennessee is interesting. Missouri is interesting. That's a tough 3-game stretch. We've got October 19th, Tennessee. The following week, Missouri, and then we go right to LSU. That
They have
that
a
to me,
bye. They have a bye between.
so there is a bye, but that's a tough 3-game stretch. And I agree with you. There is like Tennessee. I'm curious to see what happens.
Mhm.
Where they're at. I'm hearing shootouts is where we're thinking, because we know LSU ain't playing no defense. Sorry to my good friend Joy, who we're going to have on the podcast some point this
Yeah,
summer.
we're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to
Yeah,
that because
yeah, but
that's I'm
I'm just struggling. I when we get to LSU, I don't agree. I'm gonna say he goes 10-2. I'm gonna say he goes 10-2. I will push back on the LSU game. He's gonna get that one.
but yeah, we're within a game.
Yeah,
Nobody's. I'm not going 11-1. I'm not going 12-0 on this. And to be honest, 9-3 is probably the floor because the rest of the schedule, Western Kentucky, South USF, Wisconsin, Vandy, South Carolina, Mercer, Oklahoma. I guess you could theoretically, if you go on my schedule, predictions 9-3, and I predict Alabama to beat Auburn, but we know that game is always drunk and crazy, and anything can
it's not a
happen.
Jordan Hare, so it's less drunk. Like,
That's true.
yeah, but well, here's the other question though. What does USF do? And that was a 17-10 game last year in Tampa. I mean, you've got to watch out for the Bulls, Alabama. I mean, I get it that you beat Georgia, but you lost to Michigan. You're only as good as your last game. I'm just trying to troll you all. Yeah, I'm right there. I'm right there with you. I think that 3-game stretch is going to be rough. My eyes are going to be on what does Georgia do, because to me this is an opportunity. If I can steal this limelight, which I will do from time to time.
Sure.
That Georgia Alabama game is most interesting to me.
We're going to learn a lot.
Yeah, we are, because everyone's crowned Kirby as now, okay, he's the king of college football. Harbaugh's gone, Saban's gone, Dabo's we'll do that another time. But
We can last word him again.
we will. Sorry, Casey. Um, but all kinds of shout outs today. But this is my challenge for Georgia. You want to put the pedal to the floor, and you want to go speed through, and you want to go to that next level, and you truly want to be elite. You go smack Alabama in Tuscaloosa. You set the tone. I go back a while back when Georgia wore all black. We had that great 3:30 game. Alabama came in, and Scott Cochran says they're going to their own damn funeral. Let's send Alabama to there. Let's send the message right there. Because if they don't, Kirby is talented as hell, but there's something about Alabama, and is it the Saban effect? Is it the Tide? Whatever it is, this is the opportunity for Georgia to clown their ass and to show that they're ready to go to that next level.
I think you can't sleep on them. I think a lot of people are sleeping on them because Saban's gone, new coach, it's going to take a minute. That's not true. They still have a ton of Saban recruits. They did lose some pieces in the portal. They didn't lose a ton of pieces. They brought in a few good pieces. And Kalen DeBoer has won literally everywhere he's ever been.
Who's the quarterback, though? Is it going to be Is it going to be Milroe?
Yeah.
Like I love him, and I love when he was with Johnny Dell and Roll Tide after the game. I thought that was fantastic. I know he killed that dog in the SEC championship game, but I don't know. I
guess my question is, you leave him with DeBoer for the whole offseason.
100%.
Can he throw the ball?
Can he throw the ball? DeBoer's a whisper. Listen, I think he's going to be good. 9-3 ain't it though. You got to be 10-2, 11-1 because
I agree.
That's the standard. That's a failure. That's a failure.
So to exacerbate this failure, I also have Auburn at 9-3. And if that happens, then
you're drunk.
Imagine the narrative of the trajectories of these programs in the state of Alabama. Hear me out.
I'm listening.
Alabama A&M, Cal, New Mexico, Arkansas, Oklahoma, who I think is a toss, but I gave it to Auburn. Lost to Georgia, bye week, lost to Missouri. Then you have Kentucky, who I gave Auburn the win there. I think that there's even in some offseason moves, there's already at least equal talent, if not more talent, in Auburn. And I like Hugh Freeze better than I do Stoops as a coach. Sorry. There's going to be more explosive firepower from the offense. Vandy, your other bye week, Louisiana Monroe, Texas A&M, who I gave Auburn the win there as well, just because I'm not trusting A&M in year one under Elko, and then a loss to Bama, and that puts you at 9-3. I mean, argue with me. Where are we? I mean, I guess Oklahoma. I guess maybe A&M, maybe Kentucky. You could lose all three of those games. I would put in that kind of toss-up category. I just tend to like them better because of the overall personnel and because
Who's the quarterback? Who's the quarterback? Because as I read,
it's going to be Payton Thorne again.
Okay, so as I read in the last word last week, our good friend Hugh was crying poor. Oh, we don't have enough money for NIL. We couldn't go get a quarterback. Oh, they're too expensive. I want to develop the guys on our. Shut up, Hugh. You want Payton Thorne, and I know all about Payton Thorne. He was with the Spartans up in Michigan State here. Here's his numbers last year. 1,755 total yards for the season. I think Beck threw for that in about 3 weeks. 16 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. And it was just absolutely inept at quarterback. Who's the guy that you guys got at South Carolina? You got his old backup. It was
Robbie Ashford.
Robbie Ashford, right? I'm sorry, this isn't Dr. Bo Nix. Okay? Hugh needs a quarterback. He needs athletes. Hugh has done nothing in NIL. He's recruiting a little bit better, but it doesn't take much. I could recruit better than Brian Harsin. I could go with some handshakes. But like, yeah, they look good against Alabama until they couldn't cover, Bond with like 3 seconds left from 28 yards out. But like, I don't believe in Hugh. And Hugh's comments about NIL shows he doesn't believe in Auburn. We talked last week about Arkansas and that Sam Pittman might be fired. If I'm Tyson and I'm Walmart, show Hugh Freeze the damn money and show him the NIL so he's not complaining in public about having to go and recruit these guys. So I'm going to go against you. I don't know who those teams are, but a team that lost to New Mexico or New Mexico State, whatever the hell that was last year. Sorry, Auburn. This is not Georgia fan hating on the Deep South Ole Miss rivalry. I expected more. Hugh was a game changer. Sure, he cheated his ass off at Ole Miss, allegedly. But now it's legalized what he was doing. Where is Treadwell? Where are these guys at?
Well, that's what I was going to say. That's what I was going to say is I
So-
think if you go back to Peyton Thorne,
You got me fired up this morning, by the way.
if you go back to Peyton Thorne at Michigan State, the difference between Michigan State Peyton Thorne and Auburn Michigan State is Auburn Peyton Thorne are the weapons that he had to throw the ball to.
Yep.
So they did go out and get a couple guys in the portal. Got Robert Lewis from your alma mater, and then a guy from Cal. But the biggest thing is that they had
and a Penn State wide receiver who those guys couldn't even get open last year. So save me on that. I'm sorry.
So you got two freshmen coming in that I think are difference makers. One is 5-star Cam Coleman. We know what 5-star receivers have been able to do over the past few years. And then another guy in 4-star, Bryce Kane, that are both, and they've been in since the beginning of spring and gone through spring practice. And so I think what you're going to be able to do is give Peyton Thorne a couple of more viable targets. I don't know that you have Keon Coleman, even though Cam Coleman is a 5-star recruit and has the same last name. I don't know that you have Keon Coleman in this receiving core, but on the off chance that you have one, maybe two receivers who can get something done, then you're going to get a different version of Peyton Thorne. And that's where I see in some of these matchups with like a Kentucky or a first-year head coach A&M led team, that I'm going to give the edge to the experience and to the offensive prowess that just comes with the name Hugh Freeze.
I think they fall out of the gate with 6 wins. So like, like I said, it's like that schedule might actually be softer than South Carolina's, but like, it's like, but at the end of the day, I'm waiting for some fireworks with Hugh. And yeah, okay, he was close with Georgia. Georgia putzed around with him until Brock Bowers showed that he was a unicorn and a man. Again, another great article I read earlier this year. And then
somebody Michael guy wrote that.
Yeah, some clown wrote that. But like, and even Alabama, but again, Iron Bowl is always drunk. Like I said, you look at what to me this is where I get after Auburn. They swung big 2 years ago. They wanted Lane. And the Grove Collective stood up and said, nah, we're going to keep him. And Ole Miss came in to Jordan Hare at night. Kiffin talked about the circus atmosphere and how weird shit just happens there. And it came out and smacked them. I don't see it with Hugh Freeze and Auburn. They are a dysfunctional program. There's a lot of push and pull between boosters, AD, a lot of cooks in the kitchen. Doesn't seem like they got their NIL game straight. I'm sorry, brother. They're gonna drop one of those games. You talked about Vandy 2 weeks ago grabbing somebody. Put it down. Vandy's gonna grab.
Well, let's call back to my mentioning of Vandy having 3 key players off of that New Mexico State team that beat Auburn last year. So they know how to do it. So we'll see what happens. Hey, let's move on to these last 2. And I don't want to waste too much time here because I hate the fact that I even have to say this, but I have Missouri at 10-2. Let's look at that schedule for just a moment. Murray State, Buffalo, Boston College, Vanderbilt, bye week, So talk about falling out the gate. That's 4-0 before you get there. Then A&M, UMass, Auburn. I have them losing to Alabama, bye week. I have them actually losing to Oklahoma. Then I have a win against South Carolina, a win against Mississippi State, and a win against Arkansas. This schedule is trash. They have the bottom feeders of the SEC club on this schedule, plus Bama.
Oh my
They
God.
literally have, according to my record predictions, they only play. Am I right about this? Yeah, they only play one team that's not in the third or fourth tier of the SEC. So the bottom half.
Gary Pinkel 2014 approves this
They
message
literally
right here.
only play the bottom half of the league except for Bama.
I think our buddy Brett bribed somebody. Oh my gosh. Going through that schedule again, you're looking.
Murray State,
10
Buffalo,
10 and 2 is
Boston College, UMass. That's their
Boston-
four.
They're going to win
Boston-
the North. They're going to beat Northeastern State this year. Boston College and UMass going to all join together. But
My goodness.
So I'll push back. They're not losing to Oklahoma. Oklahoma's dumpster fire.
So then that's 11-1, and their loss is Bama. I can't believe
Brady Cook is back. Right, Brady Cook is back.
Brady Cook is going to look like he's a Heisman Trophy candidate.
Luther Burden. I mean, and then they got this other kid who's really good. I think 11. I think
I don't know what to do with them. I don't know what to do with them. They shouldn't be 11-1. I don't know. I don't think that they.
So
I just hate giving Drinkwitz any of this credit. They have a good roster. They don't have an 11-1 roster.
Bro? You mad, bro?
I'm a little mad. They don't have an 11-1. They have a good roster. They don't have.
No, they have an 11-1
roster.
schedule. It's not about your roster. Listen, you play the schedule you have. Listen, I
get it.
Let's go coach speak, Old Dominion and Akron. Hey, listen, this is our schedule. We'll play anybody, anytime, anywhere. This is our schedule. This is what we set up for it. We're going to go 11-1, and they're going to find themselves in Atlanta
again, backing their way in.
The third time for the
backing
third time.
their way in for the third time. Yeah, so that just is what it is. We can't argue it. On paper, it's exactly what it looks like. And so that's one of those things where
I think the only question is with that new defensive coordinator, and Brett talked about this a few weeks back. It's a scheme. You're coming in to adapt to the scheme. What does that look like? Because Mizzou's defense was very good. Signed dog fan from 2 years ago who thought we were going to lose in Columbia. But I do want to give a shout out to Mizzou. Those night games when they black out, that is an elite atmosphere. That is a great atmosphere. So I think that bring your sandstorm. But you know what? They're coming. They got. I hope the big kicker's still there. I'm going to go 11-1. I'm going to say you're wrong because Oklahoma is not beating them, especially in Columbia, with their 7-on-7 offensive line.
I have slept through more tumultuous scenarios than any game in Columbia, Missouri. Anyway, moving on.
You still mad, bro? All right.
Lastly,
LSU, go Tigers, baby. BK.
I've got LSU at 10-2 as well. Here's my problem with this prediction. All of these record predictions, I'm not backing down, and I'm not making an excuse for myself. I'm going to stand on what I said. All these record predictions were done pre-spring. Yep. And so I included, originally when I sent this out, I included the caveat, I may tweak after the portal. Yep. Because we want to see what the spring portal does. So
they don't got any money down in Baton Rouge.
That's where I'm headed. How on God's green earth do you lack depth at defensive tackle in Baton Rouge, Louisiana? I can't tell you. If you look from
Houston's a stone throw. You own the state of Louisiana.
You should be able to walk out your door. You should be able to walk out your door and just yell, "Hey, we need some DTs around here." And they should just walk onto the campus. They're that close. It makes no sense.
Go walk to Commander's Palace. I bet you there's somebody who can play defensive tackle there.
It just doesn't make any sense. I think Brian Kelly's getting a little bit of a bad rep for this quote because the story that came out was that this kid asked for 1.2 No shot he's worth 1.2, nor should LSU pay him 1.2. And he ended up at Oklahoma, and I don't think that they paid him 1.2. The report that I heard from someone that I trust was this looks like kid wanted to go to Oklahoma. He was set on going to Oklahoma. LSU was chasing him, and just like any of us would if we had two job offers, he threw out a big number to LSU and said, "Hey, I mean, I'm kind of set on going over here, but if you want to pay me 1.2, then I'll come to Baton Rouge," which leads to the Brian Kelly, we're not paying for players or blah blah blah
But
blah.
that's where I'm going to blame Kelly. Whatever, that kid wants to get paid, let him go get paid. Let him leverage it. More power to him. Kelly's got to control the spin. He's got to control the narrative. You're not at Notre Dame. Oh wait, they have money too, by the way. But here's the deal. You have an access to talent that you didn't have. You left Notre Dame and the Four Horsemen and touchdown Jesus for the Bayou. It is now time not to get your ass kicked in college football playoffs and national championship games. You should not be getting smoked at home to Tennessee. You should not look like your defense is a 7-on-7 going versus 11 guys. Brian Kelly has underachieved and will be fired this year. He is not going to go 10-2. He'll be 8 wins because that defense is still going to be a hot mess because he doesn't have enough money. And I don't think I like Garrett Nussmeier, but he's not Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels can make some plays. You know, Malik Neighbors could jump out of his shoes. Those guys are gone. And yes, I'm sure LSU still has talent.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, how you can have LSU, Auburn, and Clemson crying poor, we don't have enough money for NIL. Shut up. You've had it for plenty of years. What, now because everybody else can legally do it, you don't want to pay market prices?
Yeah.
Stop it.
That's what. Yeah.
Stop it, LSU.
So
Sorry, I'm angry. I'm angry this morning.
No. That's a good. I mean, it's a fair take, and I think that offensively, I don't have any concerns or questions necessarily. Yeah, you're breaking in Garrett Nussmeier. I like him a lot. I think he's going to be able to come in and do stuff. I think that you still have elite talent at the receiver spot just because they tend to reload and not have to rebuild at that spot. The defense is what bothers me. Now, you got Blake Baker coming over from Missouri, and I think he's a stud of a defensive coordinator. I think he's phenomenal. But you can't play if you don't have the players. So it doesn't matter how
it's not X's and O's.
It doesn't matter how good the scheme is. If you don't have the guys to put out there, I don't think he does because they didn't go get anybody. Their secondary is awful, and they don't have the defensive tackle. So here's the problem. What do we have? A couple of ends and some good linebackers, which tells me we're about to be able to chunk the ball on these boys because there's going to be not much of a pass rush because they're not going to be able to get a push up the middle. They can't stop the run if there's no space eater in the middle of the defensive line. And if they can't put any pressure on the quarterback and you give them 4 seconds to drop back and look, somebody's going to get open on this extremely porous secondary. And so that makes me question some things. I just want to take a quick look at the schedule just to kind of show you where I'm
I
at.
was going to talk about it like real quick before as you go through it. Thank you for LSU for not actually having a Mickey Mouse schedule. They've got 2 Big Ten teams in there.
Yep.
12, but Big Ten.
Yep.
But my one question before we get into it: why is LSU playing neutral site games? Why is Georgia playing neutral site games?
I'm done with neutral site games. I'm done with neutral site games.
Yeah,
you need to just get rid of them.
You got Tiger Stadium.
Get rid of them.
Yeah. So yeah, they're going to open with. I'm going to steal your thunder. They're going to Vegas, and they're going to open up with USC.
What's the
put
purpose
that game
of that?
in the Coliseum? Put it in the Coliseum or put it at Tiger Stadium. Don't go to Vegas.
Who's in Vegas that wants to watch the game? It really just becomes because it's a holiday weekend and it's opener that it gives people an opportunity to vacation to Vegas and also go to the game.
I'll go vacation to Baton Rouge. I'll go have some gumbo. I'll get some gumbo. I'll go tailgate.
So I have them losing this game because of the secondary situation, because of what we saw with Miller Moss, because of what we know about Lincoln Riley. You have an opportunity to come in and light
It's
them
gonna be a
up right
damn
off the
shootout,
bat.
is what it is, because USC ain't playing any defense either.
It is exactly. So then they have Nichols, which is a win. They have South Carolina, I have that as a win. UCLA a win. South Alabama a win. So you're sitting with one loss at the bye week. Then you have Ole Miss. Give me the lane train there. Arkansas a win. A&M win. Another bye week. I have LSU beating Bama, which we already discussed. Our differences there. I kind of disagree with myself at this point, given that they didn't do anything in the spring portal to bolster the defense. But nevertheless, I got to sit on it. 10-2 Florida. I mean 2-10 Florida the next week, so they're going to win that one. Vandy and Oklahoma to close it out. And so after Bama, they kind of close out on a 3-game win streak. So your real big question marks are Bama, Ole Miss, and that USC opener. And selfishly, what I would love to see, South Carolina, week 2 at Kentucky got the 3:30 slot on ABC because we're now on SEC on ABC. Rest in peace to the CBS music and the deal that we've lived with for all of our lives.
For that one,
And another good article this week from our guy Craig. So South Carolina, if they can start 2-0, so you have Old Dominion to open, and then you go up to Kentucky. That Kentucky-South Carolina game is going to be pivotal for both of those teams and their trajectory for the rest of the year because they're kind of evenly matched. You got a 3:30 in Lexington. If South Carolina wins that game, they come back home with a lot of momentum for the conference home opener, which is almost inevitably going to be a night game with LSU coming in off of USC and Nichols. And so you've got
so hear me out on this one.
go.
Put your AD hat on.
Mm-hmm.
Put that game at noon instead of nighttime. Let us sleep.
It does throw them. It does throw them.
Yeah, you're right. Because I'm thinking like Tennessee 2 years ago came out on their ass quick. Like put that game, like as much as I love the night game, give yourself every effort. You are punching up for that game. Put that at noon. Let them get sleepy. Maybe you jump on them quick, and you can roll, because like I see that, like if I'm looking at that schedule, I South Carolina's a potential landmine. You know what, Ole Miss, yeah, like I said, Texas A&M, that's gonna be at Kyle Field. I don't trust Elko, but that's trouble. Florida, that game is always a little drunk. LSU in Florida. I feel like every game we've talked about has been drunk, but like.
Well, here's the thing. By the time they get to Florida, Lagway's going to be playing because Billy's going to have to move him into the starting role to save his job, even though it's not going to be Mertz's fault.
Is Billy going to move him or is somebody else?
Well, potentially.
It's Billy's special teams coordinator or whoever. Maybe the Gator Collective is going to move
it
him.
won't be the special teams coordinator. I can guarantee you that. But Lagway presents the same problem that you get at South Carolina, which is a large quarterback who can sling it and can run it. And if you have no defensive tackle and you have no depth along the defensive line and you have no secondary, that's a problem. That's a matchup nightmare. If you have somebody who's going to take the open throw, but can also make you pay if you open up a gap when he drops back to pass, it could be an opportunity. Could be an opportunity for the Gamecocks. Could be an opportunity for the Gators.
I agree.
If you look at that schedule, do they have? They don't have Auburn.
No, we got 4 teams left. By the way, still haven't talked about the Dogs. Haven't talked about Horns. Oh man. Oh,
who else have we not talked about, Craig?
Does anyone else exist? Does anyone else matter? Maybe. Oh, wait. Party in the Sip?
Indeed.
I might actually get a bottle. I might get a bottle of Pappy. I might have Pappy in one hand, Hunker in the other, just for next week, because I'm going to
let me crash your party. We also have to talk about Tennessee next week.
We just talk about them now. They're not really.
No. We're saving it. We're saving it. Hey, we'll be back in just a second with the last word.
Go.
Well, welcome back to It Just Means More Football and Coffee. I'm Rob Williams here with Craig McMichael. Remember, I am Rob Williams, GCP, and he is at McMicah7. You need to follow us, read along the things that we are writing at Last Word on college football. Speaking of the Last Word and college football, is Dabo Swinney speaking his last words? He seems to just be digging a deeper and deeper hole. The latest quote, two quotes in the past week. One is that we just had a whole class of transfers, so transferring in from high school. And the second one is that the reason that they're not taking transfer players at Clemson is that most of them aren't good enough to play at Clemson. All right, your thoughts. I can't. Go ahead.
You know, when I was teaching and a young man would say something, I would have this great quote from Billy Madison. What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling do you even make a point. Everyone in this room is now dumber. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul. Please, someone talk to Dabo. Someone's got to tell him no. Someone's got to tell him the world is changing. The world is evolving.
I think he's trolling or trying to. He's just not good at it like Lane. I think he's trying to troll because he just doesn't
But
want
if
to
he
do
was,
it.
I could see it, but like, just win then, dude.
That's what I was going to say. That only works
Yeah.
if you win. That only
Yeah,
works if you win.
like
Because if you come out this
win.
year, if you come out this year and go 8-4 or 7-5, it's just like, okay, well, it's still sliding. So
Yeah, but like, you know,
your
it's
statements are irrelevant.
yeah, but it's like that's the thing is like Lane will rip on it, but at the end of the day, Lane's still doing it because he knows that's the path for victory.
Well, yeah, that's the whole
So
thing. That's what Saban did
so
too. It's not you don't have to like it, but if it's the way, then you got to go.
is that what you want? All right, is that what we're gonna do? What Saban did. It's brutal. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I don't
like
know.
I said, I'm gonna smash the Billy Madison quote, and I will have that cut at the end here.
I think the we have a class full of high school transfers. It's definitely a joke. It's a troll, obviously. Like he's laughing when he says it. It looks different in print on a social media graphic than it does if you listen to him say it. So I'll give him some credit there. The other one, I don't know if it was taken out of context or what the deal is, but these players aren't good enough to play at Clemson. Is he just talking about the spring portal? Even still, that's not accurate. But if he's talking about the whole transfer portal, that's like then your Billy Madison quote really, really that's idiotic. Like I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say.
What I do know is Clemson fans, actual Clemson fans, are frustrated. Like they realize that this is not the way.
Well, you're also sliding. Like it was okay when yeah, okay, well, we didn't make the playoff this year, but we still went 10-2. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then it's like, okay, now now you're not having a double-digit win season for the first time in 15 years, and then you go 8-4, and it's like, what is this year going to be? I've said for years that they needed to miss the playoff 2 years in a row to have the four-letter network stop shoving them down everybody's throats, and it would impact their recruiting, and it would impact their momentum, and it would impact them from a win total standpoint. If they missed it 1 year, it wasn't enough of a cycle to get them out of that. Now we're into the 12 team. So I'll be interested to see what happens this year because they're still
You
the
saw
ACC.
you saw it though. Look at the opening weekend, Labor Day. They're playing Georgia at Mercedes-Benz. How the hell is that game not Saturday night or
I
Sunday
don't
night
know.
or Monday night?
It's because of them.
That game's at noon on Saturday.
Yeah, in Mercedes-Benz. When is the
And they're
Mercedes-Benz
12
game
and a half
ever?
point dogs. They're 12 and a half point dogs.
That's why it's at noon. And Georgia's going to cover.
Ask Oregon. Ask Dan Lanning, your guy, your Big Ten champion, Dan Lanning, how that works. But it's like how that game's at noon.
Georgia's
Like
going to cover.
like I said, I'm irritated. That was the other one I was looking at because like Georgia State's playing Georgia Tech, and everyone's like, "Why the hell does Georgia State matter?" Well, listen to the pod and you'll find out. But like, come on, man. Like, get it together, Dabo. We need you.
We don't. Actually, I hope he doesn't get together. I hope y'all win by 40. Go Dogs on opening weekend.
Oh, by the way, that's just the clip. Just you saying "Go Dogs" and all your Gamecock stuff.
Hey, anything but that ugly, gaudy orange. All right. Hey, I think that's a wrap for us today. Appreciate you, my man. We have tier 1 left to do next week. And you already heard it. We're going to talk Volunteers, Dogs, Hook 'em Horns, and the Lane Train.
We're gonna skip Tennessee and just go right to the
next
main
week.
course.
We're definitely going to start with Tennessee so we can get them out of the way and move on. Because they have that gaudy orange too that I don't like. All right. Hey, we'll see you guys next week. Enjoy the rest of your biscuit. I'm Rob Williams. He's Craig McMichael. This is It Just Means More Football and Coffee.
By the way, leave us a 5-star rating on Spotify. If you do so, we'll send you
what are you doing, guys?
We'll send you a cup of coffee. Rob,
what are you doing? Yeah, I got you. Duncan's everywhere in the country, so we'll send it to you.
I'll send you Mr. Bose.
Holla. You want to jump in? My computer's spazzing, so I don't know if I'll probably pull my phone and look at the spreadsheet. Go Dogs.